They've seen a 25% reduction at intersections or at certain intersections using this technology.
See how smarter traffic lights can help your drive. Plus, we're highlighting the booming development in Claremont.
There's a lot of concern right now.
How residents say it's losing its small-town feel. And Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos is tracking today's biggest storm threats. This is News 6 Mornings.
Hey, good morning on your Monday. It's 7 a.m. I'm Crystal Moyer.
I'm Justin Mormith. Trooper Steve here, watching the roads that are wet, and there are several issues to talk about. First, though, Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos with more on the forecast of Weather Alert Day. Candace.
Yeah, it's funny. Steve has like floods and fires all tapped into one Monday.
That's a Monday.
Yeah.
The crickets are next.
Yeah.
Or the grasshoppers or whatever is next.
Tell me about it. All right, we got a weather alert day, not for crickets or anything like that, but for another round of strong to severe storms. Now, the weather alert day is not really for what happened for the past several hours, which has certainly been beneficial rain. It's going to be this afternoon. Just because we got rain this morning doesn't mean we're in the clear just yet, as we are watching basically an area of low pressure with a trailing cold front in the Gulf, and that's going to continue to surge in a lot of tropical moisture, which is why we're talking rounds of rain. The strongest of the storms looks to be between about 12 and 6 o'clock. We're talking about small hail, the frequent lightning, the heavy rain. But because we've seen so much rain for the past several days, flooding is now a threat. And because we have a low associated with that front, we're looking at the potential for an isolated spin up when it comes to some of these stronger storms, those supercell storms that we are going to keep close tabs on. But right now, the radar, we're seeing a little bit of a break with the rain, at least the heavy rain. We had a lot of it come through overnight, which is now pushing out towards the Atlantic. But now we are tracking the progress of our next batch that's approaching 75. It's continuing to move primarily to the north, some of this rain at this point. But that front, again, will continue to nudge all this activity towards the east over central Florida over the next couple hours. So the bus stop forecast, you pretty much guessed it. The umbrellas and the rain gear will be needed this morning. We are still seeing a lot of either street ponding or now street flooding. And then into the afternoon, we're putting that hazard icon there by 3 p.m. as it will be another active day. We'll be timing out the rain and a look at the next big weather story coming up in the next 7 days coming up in just a bit. Now let's check on those busy roads with Trooper Steve. He's got your News 6 traffic update.
First one, since I don't have a visual, this is St. Cloud, Nolte, and Crestwood Circle just east of Old Canoe Creek. We do have a report of some flooding in the roadway out here, so be careful. But this one Goose is at, you can see here, they're even turning around school buses, links, transportation getting turned around. Pershing, just west here of Goldenrod. The sheriff's office has decided we're going to shut this portion of the roadway down. So please be careful. You can see as we swing to the right here, it's a good portion of roadway, and this is headed towards that Goldenrod portion. So this is very busy in the morning and could be messing up some school bus pickup and possibly maybe drop off, especially with Candace pinpointing those storms coming in this afternoon. Guys, back to you.
All right, such a mess out there. Thank you, Steve. A violent scene in the middle of downtown Melbourne after a 19-year-old is killed in a shooting.
This morning, we now know both the victim and the suspect were former local high school standout athletes. But the big question now is what led to the violence? News 6's Mark Lehman is following the latest live from the Brevard County Jail. And Mark, the suspect is set to face a judge later today.
Yeah, a few hours from now, he'll be appearing before a judge here at the jail where there will be discussion about possibly setting bond in this case. That hearing is happening as police are investigating what led up to the shooting. That's sparking another round of questions about security in downtown Melbourne. An argument outside a popular night spot turned deadly early Sunday morning. Melbourne police responding to an area in downtown where they say a 19-year-old was shot and later died from his injuries. He's since been identified as Nate Jennings, a football player from the University of Northwestern in Minnesota who graduated from Heritage High School in Palm Bay. Police say the suspect in this case is also from Palm Bay. 24-year-old Stephen DeJuste is facing manslaughter charges. He graduated from Bayside High School and briefly played basketball for Eastern Florida State College. How or if the two knew each other is unknown, but the shooting raises renewed concerns about overall safety in downtown Melbourne. A couple years ago, a rash of shootings led to the city taking a closer look at security measures. Cameras have since been installed in some areas, with the mayor telling us last fall that those cameras are an important tool for law enforcement.
They're good to not only document events or if something happens, you can go back and review, but you can see live time of what's going on. It's definitely something that we needed to document more.
And the question now is, will the shooting over the weekend lead to city leaders taking another look at safety measures in downtown and possibly adding more? As for the suspect in this case, he's expected to appear before a judge later today, and we'll keep you updated with what happens. For now, reporting live in Brevard County, Mark Lehman, News 6.
Mark, thanks. Meantime, the man accused in another shooting that left a man hurt over the weekend in Brevard County will be staying behind bars. A judge denied bond yesterday for Calvin Woodson. Investigators say the 33-year-old shot the victim on Saturday at the intersection of Garden Street and South Grannis Avenue in Titusville. The victim, whose name has not been released, was taken to the hospital and is expected to survive. Woodson, meantime, was already out on bond for 3 other cases at the time of his arrest. The jail website shows he's been arrested 20 other times in Brevard County before this weekend.
This is what's left of a Lake County home after a devastating fire last week. Now the family who lived there is scrambling to figure out where they're going to stay, and they're asking for some help. The fire started Tuesday night in Sorrento. It quickly spread. Renee Veras says she lost nearly everything, including several medical supplies for her son, who suffered a traumatic brain injury in a crash 2 years ago.
They're really expensive. Like, he had a fully electric hospital bed, urinary incontinence supplies, a lot of medications that we're going to have to see if the doctor will replace because of his insurance. It's not time to refill.
Right now, Renee and her family are staying in a local rehab facility to help out with her son's medical needs, but they will only be there for 13 days. The family has set up an online fundraiser to help them get back on their feet and pay for some new medical equipment. They also have a place where you can drop off physical donations like toiletries and clothes. We have all those details inside the story on clickorlando.com.
Right now, Israel is awaiting a possible release of the last known living American hostage in Gaza. Hamas is expected to free Adnan Alexander within the next 48 hours. It's the latest efforts to establish a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas. The release could also help restart humanitarian aid deliveries to Gaza. New this morning, Alexander's family took this photo late yesterday while at the airport heading to Israel ahead of their son's release. Alexander is an Israeli-American soldier who grew up in the United States. His release comes ahead of President Trump's first foreign trip, where he will visit Saudi Arabia and Qatar. At the Vatican, Leo XIV said his first Sunday blessing in St. Peter's Square since being named Pope. During the blessing, the American-born pontiff called for an end to war, notably a just and lasting peace in Ukraine and an immediate ceasefire in Gaza. Here in Orlando, St. James Cathedral was full Sunday morning. Families were there to celebrate Mother's Day and mark the beginning of a new papacy with Pope Leo XIV at the helm. Father Miguel Gonzalez says he's excited about how the new pontiff could impact the Catholic Church in the U.S.
One of the things that I'm optimistic about, being a former vocation director here in this diocese, is the fact that this could be an opportunity to strengthen a vocation awareness culture in our church in the United States.
Father Gonzalez spent time praying and calling on the church to take on its responsibility of praying for the new pope.
Well, nobody likes sitting in traffic, and new this morning, a new study says things could be improved in Florida. News 6's Stephanie Rodriguez discovered there is a possible way to fix those out-of-sync traffic lights. She joins us now live, and if we can't build more roads, Stephanie, can we at least make the current ones work better?
That's the hope. I mean, I've been stuck at a red light. I'm sure you have, waiting for it to change, and no one else is coming around, and you're like, what's going on? Well, there's a new push now to look to AI to try to make these dumb lights smart.
Pretty mad. Yeah, it happens a lot. I live in East Orlando, so on Colonial, I'm there all the time, and it takes 2 or 3 cycles to get through a red light.
Drivers are sick of it, and maybe AI can fix it. It's already a reality in parts of Florida.
In some cities that have done this, they've seen a 25% reduction at intersections or at certain intersections using this technology of wait times.
Former state senator Jeff Brandes is with the Florida Policy Project. He points to a recent study entitled Best Practices, Signalized Intersection Investments. It shows our traffic lights aren't just out of sync, they're also outdated.
Traffic light signals have really not changed since the 40s and 50s in a significant way.
The study looked at over 16,000 intersections in Florida, just like this one, and found that the average traffic delay is 20.4 seconds. Nationwide, it's 18.1.
The simple truth is my smartphone is radically more advanced than most of the traffic signals that we see.
The changes wouldn't mean installing new lights, but adding sensors and cameras to the ones that we already have to adjust the lights in real time. Making these changes could reduce traffic without the need to add more lanes. It could also make our roads safer for drivers and pedestrians. Data from 2019 to 2023 found 26% of crashes in Florida are related to intersections.
And a lot of areas in the state, again, are leaning into this. They did look at intersections all across the state. Some cities are already trying to implement AI. Now, here in Central Florida, Metro Plan Orlando is currently accepting proposals from developers to try to work on some retiming some of the lights here in the city. So hopefully we could see some of those results here soon. Reporting in Orlando, Stephanie Rodriguez, News 6.
Stephanie, thanks. Now, this is a big topic, especially working the morning shift, Candace, because a lot of times there's no one on the road.
Yeah.
And I am sitting at a red light.
Yeah, it happens.
It's so frustrating.
I know. But then the other thing, you don't want to take it, right? 'Cause so you go,
you look around. No, no one's there.
I said you want to. I don't act on it. All right, let's talk about the weather forecast. Make sure you act on grabbing the rain gear today. You're going to need it this morning. You're going to need it this afternoon. And even if you're going to be out and about to this evening, there will be that potential as we are watching for rounds of tropical moisture. I know, I say the word tropical. You see a low in the Gulf and you start to get a little nervous. Has no development. There's nothing tropical about the low. It's just all the moisture that's coming out of the south. Therefore, it's tropical moisture. Moisture that comes in out of the north is different. All right, Gulf low, that's going to bring us rounds of rain. There will be that afternoon severe weather threat in the forecast as that line pushes through into the midday between about 12 and 6 o'clock. We'll have the potential, again, of strong to severe storms. So again, this was round number 1, brought us some very beneficial rain overnight, barely even brought a lightning strike with it. So I'm a happy camper with that. But then as we head into the afternoon, this round of rain that's approaching Central Florida right now, still kind of sitting across our western counties, will all start to push out towards the east, and that is going to be bringing with it, again, the chance for some strong storms. Look at some heavy downpours right now, right along Bushnell, up through Bellevue, Ocala, the Villages, about to approach you guys in the next 30 to 45 minutes. Now, looking at today's threats, once again, lightning will be an issue, those strong gusty winds under some of those stronger storms. But compared to the previous days, flooding is on the rise a little bit because of how much rain we've seen. But also, although a low-end risk, we do have a mention of a rotating storm for the forecast today, as that low nearby could kind of increase a little bit more of that spin in the atmosphere. We'll have more details on the timing of the rain, how much longer this wet weather will last, and a look at near record heat. When can we expect to feel like the triple digits? I'll have more on that in just a bit. Now let's check on those roadways with Trooper Steve. He's got your News 6 traffic alert this morning.
Yeah, we're going to talk about this until we're off air. This is going to be Pershing just west of Goldenrod. Visually, it's pretty something to look at here. So the residential roadway just underwater. But I tell you, it does look like the water's come down a little bit since we've started this morning. But east and westbound, this area is shut down. Easy to get around it, take you 5 minutes. This just happened a moment ago. We were completely closed for maybe 5 minutes. This is going to be westbound 528 right at Orange Avenue, Belle Isle area, west of the airport. All your lanes are now back open, but out on the left shoulder here, there's a first responder. So this is automatically going to slow us down. You see about maybe quarter mile back up there. Just take it, please. Caution is key this morning when driving. Back to you.
No doubt about that. Thank you, Steve. The time now is 7:13. Coming up, it is a taste of tradition.
We're hitting the road to visit a family-owned business in Claremont, what it takes to run the largest winery in the state.
First, though, music mogul Sean Diddy Combs back in court today. What's next after last week's delay in picking a jury? Happening today, the high-profile trial for music mogul Sean Diddy Combs is set to officially get underway in New York. Final jury selection and opening statements expected at his federal criminal trial. Combs has pleaded not guilty to 2 counts of sex trafficking, 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution, and 1 count of racketeering conspiracy. He rejected a proposed plea deal before the trial began and could now face life in prison.
All this week, News 6 is hitting the road this time. We are headed to Claremont.
That includes a taste of tradition, 3 generations strong. All new this morning, News 6 anchor Ginger Gadsden takes us to one famous spot where modern winemaking is meeting Southern charm.
Nestled among the rolling hills of Claremont, Lakeridge Winery and Vineyards has been a part of the community since its doors opened in 1989. This winery has grown from humble beginnings to producing more than 2 million bottles of award-winning wine each year. And just like the grapes that produce good wine, growing a successful business like this takes time.
So my name's Christian Sloop. I'm the Chief Operating Officer here at Lakeridge Winery and Vineyards. I'm actually the 3rd generation family here at Lakeridge, so my granddad actually founded Lakeridge about 36 years ago.
Christian's grandfather is Gary Cox. That's him on a harvester in the mid-'80s. As a boy, he has fond memories of visiting his grandfather. That's Christian stomping grapes with his bare feet. Now, he walks the vineyards feeling generations of growth and history under his feet here in Lake County.
Right now, we actually only have 4 people taking care of this entire vineyard.
What? Lakeridge spans an impressive 127 acres. It is the largest vineyard in the state. They produce some 330 gallons of wine each year. I'm familiar with the muscadine grape, and I can't believe this is how tiny they start. Because they get bulbous.
Oh yeah, they get pretty massive.
Hard to believe, but these tiny buds on the vine will ripen into the grapes that will produce all that divine wine.
We set it up a little bit different on the weekends.
Lakeridge Winery uses modern techniques in winemaking, including temperature-controlled fermentation in these giant stainless steel tanks.
These are about 5,000 gallons.
It's a lot of wine.
Yeah, it is.
And customers seem to love it.
Either non-wine drinkers or people that said they only drink dry wine and they fall in love with them and walk out with cases. I mean, it's the coolest thing ever to see.
And that was Ginger Gadsden reporting. Be sure to join us later today. Ginger is going to be live at the winery showing us more about the impact that it has had on the Claremont community. It all starts right here on News 6 at 4.
Let me tell you, whether the sun is shining or it's raining, there's a spot for you there.
Oh, yeah.
Indoors, outdoors.
Yeah.
No doubt. And it probably will be raining this afternoon.
Most likely,
We have been talking about that throughout the morning, Candace. Rained a lot overnight, rained a lot yesterday, rained a lot over the weekend, and more on the way for today.
We've had almost like 7 consecutive days. I think there was one day in Orlando last week that didn't pick up a little bit of rain. I think it was just a trace. Right. But it has certainly been a very soggy stretch. The wettest weather we've seen since about, I would have to say maybe early October if I have to go back. Wow. So it certainly has been quite a shock to the system, but certainly a shock we all needed, right? Because if you looked at our grass, it was flatlining for a little bit. Looking here at our what to expect graphic here. For today, it's going to be stormy. There will be that severe weather threat in the forecast. And again, we're not weather alerting the day for the morning commute. It's going to be more for the lunchtime, evening commute kind of time frame between about 12 and 6 o'clock. But I do want to turn your attention to what's going to be happening as we head into next weekend. It's Monday, and yes, I'm already talking about the weekend because that's how we survive here. We could be feeling like 100 degrees by Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Could we even be flirting with record highs? So that's something that we are going to be talking a lot about. All right, let's take a live look outside right now. Daytona Beach, you can see all that cloud cover from overnight rain has now shifted out to sea, but certainly roughing up our surf a little bit. It's going to be cloudy. It's going to be gloomy. It's going to stay unsettled throughout the majority of the day. Certainly a soggy day today. If you have the day off and all you need to do is sit back and relax inside your home under the covers, I'm jealous. 74 degrees right now in Melbourne. In Daytona Beach, we're holding at 71. Now let's check on that hour-by-hour forecast for today. 80 degrees will be our high this afternoon, but notice the hazard icons do increase as we head into the kind of late afternoon and even into the early evening hours. So as we look at the clouds and rain forecast, this was the round of rain that brought us some pretty heavy rain overnight. That is on its way out, and we're going to be tapping into a new round of rain rolling in across our western communities right now, bringing some heavy rain across areas of Bushnell up through Marion County. But that line will continue to traverse the state and move along I-4 by about about 2 to 4 o'clock this afternoon and into the evening hours. Still picking up some of those purple shades, indicating a few signatures of some of those strong storms that could turn almost supercell. And because of that, there will be that mention, albeit a low-end risk, only about a 2% chance of seeing an isolated tornado threat. It will be in the forecast compared to the previous days we've been seeing the active weather. Most of the rain is expected to finally start shifting, or at least the severe weather will be shifting out by about 6. We'll have some lingering rain and storms till as late as about 10 o'clock. Meteorologist Jonathan Kegas and I will both be here kind of overlapping throughout the afternoon, keeping close tabs there on the radar. Now, severe weather outlook, again, just like the past several days, lightning, wind, hail, small hail certainly will be in the forecast. But we're going to increase our concern for flooding because of all the rain we have seen, as well as that isolated risk for that quick spin up in the forecast. And as a result to your full 7-day, you can see we're certainly going to continue to keep the rain in place all day today, then drying out and then really heating up by the weekend. Now let's check on those roadways with Trooper Steve.
Just missed it. Deputies out here pushing that one vehicle that was stuck out here from this morning. Look at that. I even noticed it, the water going down Pershing. Water is gone. Photojournalist Goose tells us that they have been able to unclog that drain, finally get in there. So hopefully the deputies are going to clear out, open some of this up. The problem is then there's going to be some of the debris out in the roadway. So once they do open this up, please be careful cruising through there. The rocks and all that mess. 528, we're doing much better. There are some thick traffic though now if you're headed westbound. Once you kind of mess something up, it kind of sets us up for failure for about an hour or so. So right now, if you're getting ready to leave the airport, head towards the turnpike, add about 5 extra minutes because that delay is just going to linger for a little bit right around Orange Avenue. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Trooper Steve. New insight into some popular weight loss drugs.
Ahead at the bottom of the hour, a look at which ones are giving the best results.
And straight ahead, creating hope for the homeless. How one local man has dedicated the past 20 years to giving back. Happening right now, the Ocala Wetland Recharge Park is closed. These large sinkholes are to blame that we're showing you there. They're popping up. Officials say the park will remain closed until a full assessment is completed and it's safe to reopen. No word yet on that expected date, and we'll let you know as soon as we hear anything.
Well, right now, a retired music teacher is gearing up for his weekly bike giveaway.
So you got to check this out. Russell Durham, affectionately known as Rusty, hooks up people experiencing homelessness with free bikes at an Orlando outreach center every Tuesday. Michael Hogue is a recent recipient of one of Rusty's bikes. Hogue has been living on the street for 3 years and plans to use the bike to get to work.
It's like Christmas. It really is like Christmas. I've been waiting for like a year for a bike. This is so much blessing to me. I'm gonna ride this bike all day today.
Most of the time, people are asking them to move along or ignoring them. They're shunned. Instead, to be embraced and have people care about you. Wow, what a change that can make in a person.
The ability to get up and go somewhere, something we take for granted. Rusty also hosts a bicycle repair clinic once a month. He runs the nonprofit by himself and relies entirely on donations and grants.
Be more like Rusty. Awesome. Well, some say a Central Florida city is losing its small town feel.
And residents, they are not happy about it. In the next half hour, we're hitting the road to Claremont as the community deals with the pros and cons of growth.
Streaming on clickorlando.com and broadcasting live, you're watching News 6.
Good Monday morning. I'm Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos. It's certainly been a soggy start so far to our Monday. We're watching for another batch of rain that will continue to move in from the Gulf. Now, throughout the afternoon, that line, as it moves and crisscrosses the state, there will be that potential of some strong to severe storms in the forecast between about 12 and about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. The bulk of the rain should be shifting out to sea by about 6, 7 o'clock. Some lingering rain and storms can't be ruled out, and then we will turn a much drier and hotter corner as we head into the rest of the work week. Now let's check on those roadways. We have lots of issues out there on this Monday.
Eastbound delays out by Osceola Parkway out here along I-4. No crashes, which is good. Your drive times, though, on the increase. 42 minutes, Champions Gate to downtown. And then look at that. Pershing back open this morning. Goose providing that shot to us as they clean up the roadway. This was shut down all morning long because of flooding and then debris. Glad to see all our lanes back open. The news continues next. Remember, you get updates on any of our big stories anytime. ClickOrlando.com.
This portion of the news is sponsored by AK Certified Roofing. Streaming on clickorlando.com and broadcasting live, you're watching News 6.
The time now is 7:30. Let's get a check of our top stories. It is a weather alert day. Heavy rain's been falling overnight, and at least one road, Pershing Avenue, closed in Orlando because of the flooding, and we just got updates on that. We've got more storms in the forecast for later today.
A man is set to face a judge in Brevard County accused of killing a 19-year-old former high school football standout. 24-year-old Stephen DeJuiced was arrested after police say he shot Nathaniel Jennings after a fight yesterday in downtown Melbourne.
And a Lake County mother is looking for some help after a fire tore through her family's home in Sorrento. Among the items lost, medical equipment used by her son, who suffered a traumatic brain injury in a car crash a few years ago.
Turning back now to the weather, anyone heading out, don't forget that umbrella because you are going to need it. The roads are wet. We've been following this all morning long. So let's get straight to Candace.
Yeah, Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos with us now. So I don't think today is a day where you would forget that because you open your blinds this morning.
Ta-da! Yeah.
There's the rain.
Yeah, and we had a lot of rain overnight, and most people probably slept right through it because it wasn't rock and thunderstorms like we've had for a couple other nights. But overall, much needed rain, but all of that has now shifted out to sea. But we're not just done just yet. We have still another round of rain that is moving through our Gulf Coast counties. And as that continues to move from west to east, we'll continue to kind of fire up a couple scattered showers and thunderstorms. Some could get strong to severe, especially if we get a couple little peaks of sunshine to kind of heat things up. So for today, weather alert day, it looks like the worst of the weather, at least the highest threat for strong to severe storms will come between about 12 and 6. And the only real difference compared to the last several days where we've had weather alert days is one, our flooding threat's a little higher due to how much rain we have picked up, especially this morning. But we also are watching an area of low pressure that's bringing in all this rain, creating a bit more of a spin in the atmosphere. That's the reason why we do have a mention of an isolated spin up in the forecast for today. So making sure you're staying weather aware. Rain chances, as you can see here, staying elevated all throughout the day. But again, we're putting that hazard icon into the early afternoon, early evening hours as well. As again, that potential will be there. One of the big potentials that already we've been dealing with this morning is the flooding threat. Excessive rain outlook issued by the Storm Prediction Center, giving us a level 2 out of 5 for the concern for areas of flooding. We'll have more details on how much more rain we could rack up, as well as a look at the timing of today's storms in just a little bit. Now let's check on those roadways with Trooper Steve. He's got your News 6 traffic update.
The delays out and the attractions is building this morning, so please be careful when hitting the road. Normally we haven't seen this in quite some time, but rain can make anything happen. 42 minutes, 43 minutes, Champions Gate to downtown Orlando. Last time we're going to show this to you because seeing's believing, right? Pershing is open after about 2.5 hours, 3 hours probably of a closure this morning. You can see here they're cleaning up the debris from the roadway. This is just west of Goldenrod. All our lanes are now back open, but keep in mind this area is under construction as it is generally, so just take it nice and easy. Guys, back to you.
All right, Steve, thank you. A former high school basketball standout is set to face a judge in just hours.
He's accused of shooting and killing a man right in the middle of downtown Melbourne. And we now know the victim was also a star athlete. Police say it happened during a fight early yesterday near Vernon Place and East New Haven Avenue. The suspect is now at the Brevard County Jail, and that's where we find News 6's Mark Lehman live. And Mark, newly installed cameras may have helped police make a quick arrest.
Yeah, they were added in parts of downtown Melbourne a couple of years ago. The city says the cameras are an important tool for law enforcement, and they also could be crucial in this case after an argument turned deadly. There are a lot of questions today after a former high school football standout was killed over the weekend in Melbourne. Police say 19-year-old Nate Jennings was shot outside a popular night spot in downtown Melbourne early Sunday morning. He played football for the University of Northwestern in Minnesota and graduated from Heritage High School in Palm Bay. What led up to the gunfire is unknown, but police have identified another former high school athlete as the shooter. 24-year-old Stephen DeJuiced graduated from Bayside High School in Palm Bay and briefly played basketball for Eastern Florida State College. The violence over the weekend is sparking renewed concerns about security in downtown Melbourne. A rash of shootings a couple years ago prompted city leaders to take a closer look at safety changes. Security cameras were added in some areas, where the mayor saying that and extra patrols have made things safer for everyone.
Oh, anywhere you go, there's cameras. If you go in any store or wherever you go. Matter of fact, everybody has a camera on their cell phone, so there is no expectation of privacy.
Now, when it comes to the shooting from over the weekend, our news partner Florida Today is reporting that the suspect in this DeJuice has made a claim of self-defense, and we're working to learn more about that, and he's expected to appear before a judge this afternoon. Live in Brevard County, Mark Lehman, News 6.
Thank you, Mark. Meantime, we're waiting for more answers from Cocoa Police about an attack that left a man dead. This happened yesterday morning at the Affordable Living Center near State Road 524 and Friday Road. Our news partners at Florida Today report the victim was beaten. We know he was rushed to the hospital but didn't make it. Police tell News 6 the suspect is in custody and that he and the victim knew each other. So far, though, they are not releasing the names of anyone involved or possible charges in the case.
Also new this morning, the Highway Patrol is looking for the driver who left the scene of a deadly crash in Lake County. It happened late Saturday night on US 27 and Citrus Grove Road after troopers say an SUV slammed into the back of a motorcycle that was stopped at a red light. The motorcyclist died at the hospital. Investigators say the driver of the SUV took off, but then abandoned the vehicle in the middle of US 27, about 3 miles away. Anyone with information is urged to call the Highway Patrol.
Breaking overnight, the U.S. and Chinese governments say they have agreed to a deal to reduce tariffs for at least the next 90 days. It is a move experts say was needed to de-escalate the trade war between the global economies. And as Amy Kiley explains, it could also help ease price hikes for millions of Americans.
A tremendous amount is at stake for the U.S. and the global economy.
The U.S. and China say they'll temporarily reduce the tariffs they added to each other's imports starting Wednesday. In a joint statement, they say they'll each cut them by 115 percentage points for 90 days. The countries say they're committing to ongoing trade talks during that time. The announcement comes after officials spent the weekend negotiating in Switzerland. The U.S. economy is reeling from President Donald Trump's 145% tariff hike on many Chinese imports and China's retaliation. Goldman Sachs now predicts a key inflation gauge effectively will double by year's end. The National Retail Federation forecasts at least a 20% drop in U.S. imports year over year in the second half of 2025.
We have right now no ships leaving China for the West Coast. That's the first time we've seen that since the COVID pandemic. We are hearing retailers talk about empty store shelves within weeks.
Experts say negotiating the finer details of trade deals can take months or years. They say implementation also requires time.
The global economy is not a light switch. You can't just turn off and off the U.S.-China economic relationship and then expect there's not going to be some short-circuiting.
Amy Kiley, News 6.
Meantime, President Trump says he'll sign an executive order today to try and bring down the price of some medications. In a post on social media, Trump said he would be instituting a, quote, most favored nations policy when it comes to Medicare. That means the U.S. will pay the same price as the nation that pays the lowest price for prescription drugs. Trump says the change will end years of unfair charges and could lower the cost of some medications up to 80%. A formal announcement is set for later this morning from the White House.
Florida lawmakers will not be getting back to work this week as first planned after talks over next year's budget officially imploded in Tallahassee. House and Senate leaders had announced the outline of a deal last week, but that all changed Friday when the Senate president said he would no longer bring the House proposal to the floor amid a dispute over taxes.
The House is a partner of the Senate. We are not employees of the Senate. That's not how this relationship works. There has to be a balance. And if I believe in the morals and values of the House, which is to stop wasteful spending and have a lean budget, just in case the future of the state of Florida has a recession, we're going to stick to that. And that's the difference between us and the governor and the Senate right now.
The governor is calling for more property tax relief instead of a sales tax cut. Lawmakers have until July 1st to come up with a solution or face a potential shutdown.
Video from the St. Cloud Fire Rescue's Facebook page shows a 600-acre fire that burned through the weekend. The fire was in the area of the Lake Lizzie Preserve, and according to a press release, it never threatened any structures. The fire grew, though, from just over 560 acres Friday to 600 by Sunday morning. It's now 100% contained, which is some good news, Candace. I'm sure that rain we saw yesterday was a big help, and of course, keeping that ground saturated might be a big help as well.
Yeah, especially without the lightning, right? If we can get all this rain to come through and take away the lightning and severe weather threat, that would be the best case scenario. but we can't have it all, right? Looking here at the weather setup, what we do have is this big area of low pressure that's going to continue to stream in plenty of tropical moisture. So we're talking rounds of rain. We had one already come through this morning. We'll have another one into the afternoon and early evening. So let's show you here. Models have been doing a really good job kind of verifying that we have one kind of one wave there. We'll have a little bit of a break, just a few of those light showers right now across our interior zones, but across the west, we're now starting to watch some of that rain slowly starting to filter in to our viewing area. That includes areas of Ocala, Bellevue, the Villages down through Leesburg, Bushnell as well. So the threats will continue to increase. It's not just going to be over pretty much all rain, although most of us will just see beneficial rain, maybe a few lightning strikes. There will be a low-end risk for the potential that a couple of these or an isolated cell could turn strong to severe. So we're talking about the potential for some hail. That flooding could be more of a concern almost area-wide. And although it's not completely out of the picture, there is a very low-end risk for a rotating storm due to the fact that that low is bringing a bit of rotation back to the atmosphere. But look how much rainfall has fallen within just the last 6 hours. You can see there was a big kind of dump of rain between Orlando and like Orange, Seminole, Brevard County, in that zone between about 2 to 2.5 inches of rain. But even further west, we racked up about 1/4 of an inch or so. So again, beneficial rain, which by the way does not include these totals, all right? So we're going to tack on today's rainfall on top of all of this that we've racked up so far in the last 7 days. So yes, lots of rain, but then we're going to be turning off the spigot a little bit. We're going to continue to see a lot more dry, hot air coming back into the forecast in just minutes. Now let's check on those roadways with Trooper Steve. He's got your News 6 traffic update.
How exciting. When you say it like that, I'm sorry, but the way you're like,
It's
and then
two
we're going to get
extremes.
that dry, hot air. It's like,
yay.
I'll take 4 inches of rain, please. I-4, 528 east and westbound, not too bad out here. Pay attention, though, when you get a little closer towards downtown because you'll get on the brakes a little bit. 29 minutes from Seminole County to downtown Orlando, which isn't horrible. And then that delay northbound on the Turnpike just went away there over by 528. Last week out on patrol, we were harping on pedestrian safety. We had fatal crashes left and right, so I figured, let's go out, check out some of these trails and just talk the basics, and that's exactly what we did. Head to clickorlando.com and you can check that out. Today it's going to be a conversation between you and I, and we're going to be talking about National Police Week that started yesterday, lasts all through the week. We have several law enforcement agencies locally represented in Washington, D.C. Join me at 10 a.m. and we'll talk about it. Guys, back to you.
All right, Steve, thank you. It's a popular way to lose weight, drugs like Wegovy.
Coming up, we'll show you how one lesser-known drug may be the best option.
First, though, a bustling city right here in Central Florida continuing to see a boom in growth.
But not everyone's excited about it. The growing pains Claremont is facing as we hit the road to Lake County.
News 6 is hitting the road to Claremont this week, a city once known for its citrus industry. Today, though, those orange groves are gone. The one thing that's really growing is the population. Growth and development are the talk of the town. We have heard from so many viewers who are concerned about it, so I went out there to learn some more.
I kind of describe it as just like a small town, but not a small town.
Claremont has changed quite a bit since Eva Dole was a kid.
It used to be you could look up and where the Publix is on 27, that was all orange groves, and now it's just a whole bunch of stores.
Development has been exploding throughout this rapidly growing city. And like the orange groves, some say its small town charm is disappearing as well.
When you have this much growth, is it hard to keep that charm, that small town charm?
Absolutely. It's very hard. It's when you're driving past and all you see are buildings and more cars and it's bumper to bumper traffic. It's very difficult to feel like you're in a small town.
Claremont's population continues to balloon, nearly doubling in the last decade. The hazy outline of Orlando's skyline is some 30 miles away, but for Dole, it's never been closer.
You drive down 50, you got like Tesla dealerships and a Costco. Did you ever envision that?
Never. I know everybody wanted a Costco. I know everyone wants Trader Joe's and all the other stores that Orlando has, but did not think we would get it as quick as we did.
What have you made of the changes that this pocket of Lake County has experienced?
I think the growth, it's brought some good things, but definitely there's a lot of concern right now.
This stretch of South Lake County falls under Commissioner Sean Parks' jurisdiction. He's pushing for better growth management, a step he believes could ease the burden on the community.
I do think that obviously lack of planning and mistakes have been made in the past. We're trying to protect our water resources, so we're changing some of our development codes to protect that as well. And I think when people see that, they'll start, I think there'll be a little more hope.
Just all happened so quickly, and the growth is not slowing down in that part of Lake County either. Less than 10 miles away from downtown Claremont is where Wellness Way is taking shape. It's pretty close to Southern Hill Farms, if you know that area. It's a master planned community, and it is set to feature some 15,000 homes. Yes, 15,000. And be sure to join us later today. Ginger Gadsden will be live at Lakeridge Winery as part of our special week of coverage. It all starts right here on News 6 at 4.
Well, last weekend, many of us watched as horses took to the track and raced in the Kentucky Derby. But this weekend, another group of animals fought for first place. We're talking corgis. Take a look. This is so cute. This was in Iowa. As you could see, the dogs were quite excited. Some of them took off running a bit off path. Eventually, they all made it across the finish line. But one of the owners are saying, quote, you never know what's going to happen with a corgi, adding they're either easily distracted or very goal-oriented. Huh.
They do have very unique personalities.
Yeah.
I love a good breed that has a personality that comes along with it, you know?
And when they're done, that's when they like lay down, they sprawl their legs out towards the back, and it's like all of a sudden they look like a rug.
Yeah.
It's
frog legs.
Yeah, the frog legs. Yeah.
Too much.
All right, let's talk about the weather forecast. Just kind of looked at some of the data. So far, for at least the first part of May, this is the third wettest start to the month we've seen on record. So certainly a very good start to what will eventually become rainy season. But you can see we have that nice stretch of green that started last weekend, continued almost the entire week with the exception of that one day on Tuesday. We're going to add another obvious green box for today. And then that's it. We are turning off the rain chances as we head into the middle and end of this week. And we're going to really start cranking up that heat. Rainy season, though, on average tends to begin towards the end of May. And because we're going to move right back into a dry slot, I don't really think this was the official start to rainy season. We'll have to wait and see. But let's kind of widen out the view and show you what's going on right now in the water vapor imagery. Big old upper level low right now across the deep south. Down at the surface, there's a low and associated cold front. Now, I do want to show you right now we're on the soggy side of things. This is what we're going to be under all day. But then notice all this dry air behind it. That's going to be tapping into our local forecast starting Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So what we are tracking right now is scattered rain. That is a guaranteed this morning and into the early afternoon. But then we don't stop there. We'll have another round of rain by midday, continuing into the evening hours, where that round looks to have the highest threat for some strong to severe storms possible, all depending on how that instability works through as it crosses the state. And then once we're done later on tonight, we're going to again turn off the rain chances and then crank up that heat as temperatures could be closing in on the upper 90s. Actual temperatures in the upper 90s. Now let's check on that hour-by-hour forecast for today. It will be the coolest day of the week, if you want to look at, a positive here, as temperatures will continue to stay in those low 80s and rain chances, again, trending high throughout the rest of the day. You can see clouds and rain forecast. This is all the rain that fell overnight on its way out. We turn our attention to the next round of rain. As it continues to crisscross the state, there will be the potential of it kind of picking up some fuel and some instability that could rock some thunderstorms from Volusia County down, basically riding right along I-4. You can see all those purples and reds indicating the potential for those stronger storms. Then as we head into about 4 or 5 o'clock, meteorologist Jonathan Kegas will be pinpointing whatever strong storms are lingering. Everything pushes out. We'll have a couple more scattered showers that will stick around till about 10, 11 o'clock tonight. And then that is it. We will turn a much drier corner. So the severe weather outlook for today, it's a level 1 out of 5. So it's not extremely high risk, but it's still a risk, right? So we're talking about gusty winds, the lightning, the heavy rain. We're increasing the concern for flooding just because of how much rain we are seeing, as well as that isolated spin up possible in the forecast. Now, as we get results here with their next 7 days, you can see we are back into the 90s, folks, by Thursday and Friday, and then could be flirting with some records as we head into next weekend. Now let's check on those roadways with Trooper Steve.
Man, this weather's been dynamic. All
Tell me
over the
about
place,
it.
right? Northbound 95. We're still watching the slowdowns from an earlier vehicle fire. This is outside of Palm Coast at the 291 mile marker. All your lanes have been reopened. However, crews are out there. They got to hook this up and they got to get rid of it. Downtown Orlando, a little misty out there. It's not going to be the nicest day, so just bear with it. I-4 east and westbound. Main lines are moving. Express lines are moving even better, so no major issues. 32 minutes, Sanford to downtown Orlando. 34 from Osceola Parkway. This is not that bad. Looking at things, 528 back to normal. There's a report of a flashing traffic light at Land Street and OBT. Be careful. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Steve. Still ahead, scary moments after a tornado ripped through part of a North Florida neighborhood. What we've learned about the damage left behind.
New video shows major damage in Holmes County, Florida over the weekend after a reported tornado on Saturday. This is in the Panhandle. The sheriff's office says the tornado touched down in several areas northeast of the county around 11:30 a.m., damaging 18 structures and leaving a trail of debris. The sheriff's office says, thankfully, though, only one injury has been reported.
Gas prices across the state seeing a major dip as we head into the week, officially sitting below $3 a gallon across Central Florida. The ongoing tariff fight between the U.S. and other countries had raised some questions about whether we would see price drops. But as of this morning, Orange County is seeing prices around $2.93 a gallon. Seminole County at $2.99. Brevard, the lowest in Central Florida, at $2.86. Central Florida's other counties are well below $3 as well.
New this morning, the weight loss drug Zepbound beating out Wegovy in the first head-to-head trial of blockbuster drugs. A new study shows people using Zepbound lost nearly 50% more weight than those on Wegovy. People who took Zepbound lost an average of 50 pounds over 72 weeks, according to the study, while those who took Wegovy lost nearly 33 pounds. Zepbound targets 2 hormones that regulate appetite, while Wegovy targets 1. Candace?
All right, rain chances are on the rise throughout the rest of the day. We had one round come through overnight, dumping a considerable amount of rain, and now we have our second round that's coming in out of the Gulf, and that will continue to push and crisscross the state throughout the day. By about the lunchtime hour, we will start to see some strong storms lining up along the I-4 corridor, shifting from west to east. It looks like most of the severe weather threat will dial back by about 6 o'clock this evening. Could see some lingering showers and thunderstorms, but then after that, we're going to dry things out pretty quickly, staying near normal Tuesday and Wednesday, and then it is going to be all about the heat as we head into early next weekend. Steve.
Northbound 95, we're still seeing those delays out in the Palm Coast area because of an earlier vehicle fire. Just take it nice and easy. Downtown Orlando, you guys are doing good. Main line's nice and clear, east and westbound. Your drive times are on the decrease where we want them. That's real good. About 30 minutes in both directions, east and westbound. We got a lot of time to talk about traffic, so let's keep talking about it. State Road 50 still looking good. 528 back to normal. Pretty much the earlier morning portion really hyped it up. Right now, we're going to ease it back down and just make sure you pay attention this afternoon.
Good to see that improvement. Thank you, Steve, and thank you for joining us. We break news on clickorlando.com.
You can also find all of our stories on our new 6 Plus app for your TV.
Hope you have a great Monday.
Be safe out there.
Streaming on clickorlando.com and broadcasting live, you're watching News 6.
Good morning, Central Florida. I'm Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos. We had one big round of rain overnight, picked up about 1 to 2 inches of rainfall. But now it's round number 2 that we are going to be watching, moving in out of our more of our western counties right now, lining up along 75. As all this rain continues to work from west to east, there will be the potential that some of it could get a little stronger throughout the afternoon as things kind of start to heat up a little further. You can see by about noon to 2 o'clock, that's where we will see kind of the strongest, or at least the highest chance for some of those stronger storms. Most of it should start to push offshore by about 6, and then finally clearing out as we head into your Tuesday, drier and hotter weather by this weekend. Now let's check on those roadways with Trooper Steve.
Things aren't that bad out there. We've cleared out most of the major problems. Northbound 95, though, at the 291 in Palm Coast, still very slow this morning. Be careful. Downtown Orlando, though, not bad. I'm seeing a little bit of a slowdown in the express lanes, but your main line doing very well. 29 minutes if you're coming in from Seminole County to downtown. And then State Road 50, little stop and go, but no major problems. CBS Mornings continues next. Get updates, clickorlando.com.